Hello again, Kenny from Hangar 51. Today we're going to talk about the Taranis Free Sky. This is actually the Taranis Plus, and I bought the whole kit version that came with the case. Got the lanyard, battery for the transmitter, the battery charger for the transmitter, and the new X8R receiver, I believe it's called. So, open case review. It's not really a review, but anyway, very nice setup. Receiver. Yeah, the X8R. That's the new their new favorite. I think it's an actual long range. It's got dual antennas. Radio fits in the case. Charger was here. Lanyard. And there's something significant about this where I'm showing it to you because I'm going to show you something that's important to me and maybe to you. So let's get it out of the case. Put the case on the floor. Don't need that right now. Nice case. Yeah, really well made. Real nice metal. You know, I like the case. Nice case. Okay, so here's the radio. And this is open source, open source radio. What does that mean? That means this radio is dumb. It knows nothing. Nothing works on this radio. The switches, the pots, the sticks. Nothing works on this radio until you program it. Nothing. That's what open source means. Literally, you can make anything. Okay? This doesn't have to be your throttle. This is a Mode 2 configuration because the stick that you normally would put your throttle on is here, but you can make this the throttle. You know, wide open throttle, half throttle, wide open throttle. You can literally make anything on here do anything. So if you're looking for a radio to bind and fly a plane quickly, this isn't your radio. This is your radio. Okay, DS6i, great radio. Love this radio. Okay. But everything's been configured for you, okay? This is your throttle, this is your rudder, aileron, elevator, this is your gear switch, this is your flap switch. You can't change any of that. That's the way this radio is configured. That's what you live with. No changing, okay? And then they've got dual rate switches, okay? Great setup. Bind it to an airplane, go out and fly it. Beautiful, wonderful. Doesn't talk to you. Doesn't give you options to do warnings, telemetry, none of that. It's a very basic, simple radio, but that's how it works. Okay? Open source means I can make this the gear switch, I can make this the gear switch, I can make this the throttle, and nothing's predetermined on this radio. Nothing. You have to program everything on this radio. Now, there is a helpful screen, and we're going to show you that will walk you through the basic setup, which is just these 4 controls. That's the only help you're going to get. There's a help screen that helps you set these 4 up. After that, you're on your own. All of this you have to do manually. All the audible notifications, all of the switch, you know, if you want to add landing gear, flaps, you determine which switch you put it on and how it operates. You may want the flaps here, and all these switches. Okay, this one switch in the back is a single throw. It's one position, or well, 2 positions, on off basically. And you have this long one in the back here, which is a momentary on off. That's it. All the rest are 3 position switches. There's a center and a extended out and in. So everything else is 3 position. Okay, so that gives you a lot of options. You know, because a combination of 2 switches may make one thing happen, and a different combination makes something else entirely happen. And that's the beauty of this. That's what this open source means, is that you determine what it does. Okay, so got 2 potentiometers here, which would be great for camera pan and tilt maybe, and then you also have 2 more potentiometers on the sides of the radio. That would be great for flaps, because instead of having a half flap, full flap as your only option, you could just set the potentiometer and you just run it from one extreme up to whatever amount of flaps you want. You know, you can determine how much flap, because this is just going to, as you slide it, the flap's going to come down to whatever you want it to be. So that's a useful, but again, pan and tilt for the cameras, maybe also, but you have to set all that up. Nothing's determined on this radio. So even though it's a 16-channel radio, no channels have been predetermined. You have to program everything. So but it gives you unbelievable options. Some of the options would be audible warnings. There's a voice in there. You could use your own voice. You can get somebody else's voice, record it, convert it to a WAV file, put it in the radio. There's a bunch of pre ones loaded, but you don't have to use those. Hey, there's a timer in here that will run when you hit a switch, move the throttle, whatever, however you want to set that up. But you don't have to use the timer. You could actually put a song connected to that, and find a 5-minute song and put it on the radio that activates with the throttle, for instance, and then it's just going to play the music. Instead of a countdown, 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever you set it up for, the music plays. When the music stops playing, hey, it's time to land. You know, you're out of, you know, your 5 minutes is up. So you can do that. So the options are unlimited, what you can do with this radio. And when I say unlimited, I mean unlimited, because there's just no limit to what you can do with this. One of the other things I love about this, and it talks.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Okay, so that was the standard and no problems. But let me show you what happens. Okay, I'm going to switch a switch, and I'm going to move the throttle. Okay, and now I'm going to turn it on.
Welcome to OpenTX. Throttle warning.
Okay, see the stop throttle warning? It's telling me my throttle's not down. And again, you can turn that off. It's just, that's how it defaulted. And okay, I said it, well, nothing was pre-programmed. Well, it's not pre-programmed. It's just assuming, since this is a mode 2 radio and this is the throttle, that you're going to set it up that way. So there's a little help, not much. So that one, yes, it's saying, because it thinks you're going to put the throttle there. Hey, let's face it, you probably are. It's telling you the throttle's not down. So the radio hasn't gone active yet. Nothing's working right now on your plane. If your plane's on and you did this and you get these warnings, nothing's working yet. It has not booted yet. So we're going to put that down. Now it's telling me there's a switch warning. It still says stop, because this one switch is not in the default up position. Again, you can turn any of these off, program how, if you want the switch in the down position because it's on landing gear and the gear needs to be down, you could program it the other way around so that you get the switch warning if it's in the up position. It's just defaulted that way. So, okay, now all my switches are up, throttle's down, and now it's on, ready to go. Okay? And because I've already got it set for an airplane that's on Spektrum, the Spektrum module is lit. If it was a non-Spektrum, this wouldn't be lit. So, unlike the DX6, and this is not I'm not ditching the DX6. I love this radio, awesome radio. But originally the screen wasn't backlit and there was no on light, you know, LED. So when you're at the field, if you accidentally leave it on, you don't know you've left it on. There's really nothing to tell you you've left it on. I did add a backlit screen, and I think if I lay it down like this, you can see there's an orange light. This is a speaker grill, by the way, in case you didn't realize that. It is open through here. One way you can see through it, the other way you can't. This way you can't see through it. This way you can see through it. So if you look, you can see I've got an orange light inside there that's on. And when the radio's sitting down like this at the field, that's pretty visible. And this, the sun pretty much washes this out. You can't tell the backlit screen's on out in the sun. But I can see this orange light, so that's helpful. But that's the only help you have. So if you haven't made these two mobs and your radio's standing over there like this on, you don't know it's on. It's going to sit there all day on. You're going to forget that it's on. This has a warning, audible warning. inactivity warning, it says. So it's currently set for 5 minutes. I think it's 5 minutes. Maybe it's 10 minutes. Yeah, I think it defaulted to 10 minutes. So if it sat there for 10 minutes on and you didn't know it, it's going to start talking to you, and the warning just keeps coming. It says inactivity warning, inactivity warning, inactivity. Now that's great. Even though there's no, the backlit screen goes out after so many minutes and there's no LED on, I love the fact that it's an audible warning. That's fantastic. That is way more useful than my little LED, because I don't even have to be looking at the radio. If I'm within earshot of the radio and the volume's, you can control the volume to whatever level you want it at, I can hear it telling me, hey, I left you on, stupid. Turn the radio off. So, awesome. Love that. Another nice feature, came with a NiCad battery, rechargeable. I am not putting a LiPo in mine. I don't understand why put a LiPo battery in a transmitter. I don't need to save weight. The NiCad pack is going to work perfectly. I don't know why people are changing them to NiCad or to poly, LiPos, but hey, whatever. I'm not planning on it. I'm going to leave the one that's in there. There's no reason not to. Charging jack on the side, charging LED on the back. Love that. Because when I've got this on charge, I have no idea it's charging. I mean, you plug it in, but there's no indicator that tells you the charger's actually charging it. You're just assuming that it is. But this one actually gives you there's a little green LED here that actually tells you that it's charging, and I love that too. That's a great feature. So, great. I mean, it's a heavy radio. Sticks feel fantastic, really nice. Good feedback on the sticks. I love it. I love the radio. It's not a quick, easy bind and fly kind of radio. You're going to spend a lot of hours programming it, but once you've got one model programmed in, you can copy that file over and over again. So if all your models are set up similar, you can get 90% of it done just by copying and then go in and tweak it to get the rest of it. So don't let this scare you off. It's really not that bad. And for you computer programmers, basically it's programming in a 4th GL language. Okay, all the hard coding's already done. You're just going out to pick lists and picking what you want to happen and how. So it kind of works like a 4GL, 4th generation language programming. It's mostly, it's all pick lists. I mean, there's no hard coding to do. It's all pick lists. Of course, you have to combine this with this with this with this to get it to do what you want it to do. And it's look, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little complicated. It's going to take some time. This isn't a 5-minute setup, but when you're done, it's awesome. Well worth the setup. So patience, guys. That's the best thing I can tell you with this radio to really, really get the full effect of what this thing has to offer you. Patience. You don't even have to do it all in one setting. Look, I programmed my first model into this and flew it with just the standard 4-channel. It was a 4-channel airplane. I forgot the expo and the dual rates right now. I didn't care. I just wanted to fly it. So I put I put a plane in the radio, just the standard stick configuration, and went out and flew it. Flew great, love it, no problem. Now I can go back and start putting the 5-minute, warnings on the, throttle and or the timers. I can put timers on it. I can, all that later. But I didn't do that right now. Just wanted to fly it. Wanted to test the radio. Worked great. And it was a Spektrum, and that's what this video is really about. How to make a Taranis Plus, okay, not a Taranis. I thought the difference between the Taranis Plus and the Taranis was a better speaker and a couple of trivial upgrades. No, they're totally different radios. Physically they look the same, but in the menus inside, I haven't seen a real Taranis, only videos on YouTube like I'm doing this one. The menuing screens are totally different than this one. So you've got to really pay attention. And the reason I'm doing this video is I couldn't find anybody that had successfully done a Taranis Plus, with a module in the bay for a Spektrum or a orange, and it's different. If you've got the orange from Hobby King module, it's different than this one. So I just wanted to let you know that this video is for a real Spektrum module in the bay on a Taranis Plus. Okay, So if you don't have a real Spektrum and a Taranis Plus, this may not be a helpful video for you. Watch it and then watch the other ones. But if it's a Taranis Plus and a real Spektrum module, then my video is going to set it up for you. So just this is what you want. One more little note, guys, just for you guys that are the Hobby King orange. Look, I originally had ordered this radio from Hobby King with an orange module. Long story I'm not going to get into, but after a month that they wouldn't ship it, and they had it in stock, they just dropped the ball, and I got tired of arguing, and I got tired of waiting, so I just got my money back and went elsewhere, and I actually got it cheaper somewhere else. But if you got an orange module, or if you're thinking about getting an orange module, just be aware, okay? This is a pet peeve of mine. Maybe you don't care. The Spektrum module, the antenna comes up inside the grab bar, so you can still set your radio down on the grab bar, and your antenna's not, not getting hit or anything, and it will still fit in the case. If you put an orange module in the bay, the antenna comes straight out the back and up behind the grab bar. So now if you set the radio down, you're going to set it down on the antenna, and it will not fit in the case. So if you bought one of these with a case and you want to use the case, you do not want the orange module. You can get the module, and you can, I saw a video, a guy put an antenna for the module, up inside the radio here and fished it through. Look, if you want to do that, great, go ahead. Honestly, I got this module from Horizon Hobbies. Came with their fancy AR7010 dual antenna. This is an expensive receiver. I think this receiver retails for 60 or 70 bucks, I think. Maybe 80, I don't remember. I got the module and this from Horizon with free shipping for 109. Okay? I know the orange module is only like $32 or $39, but when you add the shipping in that Hobby King loves to hit you with, it's going to be 50, 55, maybe up to 60 bucks. Okay? 60 bucks, 100, and that's just the module. Receiver, yeah, I know, it's an $11 or a $6 receiver. 66 bucks to 70 bucks versus 109. I get it. I'm just letting you know, okay? If you still want to go that route, I don't have a problem with orange stuff. I love it. Works great. I've got 6 of these receivers, all different styles. I've tried a bunch of them. They're 3-axis one, works great. These are the real cheapies. I even got a long range one. I have no problem with their product. Works great. I have a problem with their customer service. So but if you're going to buy the orange module, this is just to let you know that the module fits in the bay, but the antenna comes out the back and goes up behind the grab bar. So I don't know that you're going to want to lay your radio down on the antenna, because it's going to be outside the bar. The Spektrum's inside the bar, will still fit in the case. If you put it on the Hobby King one outside the bar, it will not fit in the case. So just be aware. Okay? So that's the nuts and bolts of what we bought here. So let's get the camera over here, look inside the radio, watch the screens. I'm going to show you how to bind this to the real Spektrum and to an orange receiver, because all the videos out there are wrong for a Taranis Plus with a Spektrum module. So if you're got a Taranis Plus and a Spektrum module, this is the video you want to watch. If you don't have that, you can watch my video anyway. It might be helpful, I don't know. But I can tell you that a regular Taranis with an orange module in the bay setup is completely different than, well, I say completely different. Look, it's either right or wrong. There's no halfway there. A couple guys were close, but close doesn't count. It still doesn't work when you're close. You got to be on. So my setup, again, Taranis Plus, real Spektrum module in the bay. This is how you do it. So let's get to the video on setting it up. Okay. So let's take a look at this now. I think you'll be able to see this okay. I tried moving it closer to the camera, but it got out of focus. So I'm going to leave it down on the table. So you switch it on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
You get your little display screens, and then here's the main screen. And I have it set for my P47 model, and we're going to change that. Over here we got a couple of timers set up. One is active as soon as I throttle. This one will, and this is actually pretty cool too. This is another great feature with this. This is giving me battery life timer. Percentage of throttle. See the percentage sign? So if I go full throttle, it counts really fast. But if I'm way down on the throttle, using less battery, this slows down. See how it's a lot slower now? So what that's basically doing is telling me it's a more accurate battery usage. So it's 5 minutes of battery life, not an actual 5 minutes. And that can be very... I think that's a better timer. This is a regular timer up here that's just going to count down in seconds when I flip a switch. But this one is actually giving me the actual time of battery usage. So again, you set it up how you want, whatever you want to do. That's just what I did. And then to reset it, you just hold this down, reset, and then reset timer 2, and it's back to there. So as long as I don't throttle it, they're gonna, it doesn't count. Anyway, so let's set up a new model and get to the binding procedure so you can see how this is done. So we're going to press the menu key first, and then we're going to scroll down to number 4, and I'm going to hold the enter key down, and it says create model. Okay, so here's the first, this is the helpful screen. This is the only help you're going to get setting this radio up. Okay, so you got airplane, helicopter, a flying wing, and a quadcopter. So we're just going to use standard airplane for now, because that's going to be the easiest to relate to as far as setting this up. So we press enter. Okay, so now it says, has your model got an engine? Has your model got an engine? I don't know what kind of English that is, but okay. Yes, I'm going to say yes. So you can set it to, if I hit enter, it gives me no, yes, menu, okay, enter again, and then you page down to, and that was set to channel 1, and I'll show you that again. Has your model got ailerons? Yes, and see where it says channel 2? Now the other one said channel 1, this says channel 2, and I can change that, okay? All I have to do is do the down arrow here. Now it's highlighting channel 2, I hit enter, and I can change it to whatever I want. Channel 3, channel 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 16. I think it's got 16 channels. So I can make it whatever channel I want. Okay, but the default is 2. That is Spektrum's default, so we're going to leave that alone. So hit enter again, page down again. Has your model got flaps? No, and I'm not going to set that up right now. That's not what this video is for, and I'll show you all that later in another video. Page down again. Has your model got air brakes? No. Is this your correct tail configuration? Or which is the tail... What does it say? Which is the tail configuration on your model? Okay, this is Spektrum, 3 and 4. 3 is elevator, 4 is rudder. So that's correct. So we're going to say OK to that. Page down again. Here's a ready to go, question mark, check mark, check this over, throttle 1, aileron 2, elevator 3, rudder 4. That is correct. So we're going to go ahead and say, hold, it says enter long to confirm. So enter, and that confirms. So now we have our new model. Okay? So now that did, right there, configure the sticks. So literally, you could go fly a plane right now. After we do the binding, you could go fly it right now. And you have full controls. No expo, no dual rates, none of that's set up. None of these switches are pre-configured like on there, like on the DX6, where there's already pre-configured dual rate switches and everything. None of that's pre-configured. None of these switches do anything. You have to go do that. So that was the only part of this radio that gives you any help. The rest of it, you're on your own. You got to go into menus and figure it out. And like I said, it's a complicated radio. It's an awesome radio, and once you get it set, and just a little I don't want to turn you off of this if you're interested in this radio. Once you get one airplane set up, if you want the rest of your planes basically set up the same way, you can copy that file to the next model, and all your settings are preset to the next one. So then you only have to go in and change a couple of things if it's a little different. Of course, the name and the picture, but also, if you don't have flaps or if you want to change something, you can just go in. Everything else is already done. So you really only have to do it once, and then you can copy it over and over again. So that's helpful as well. So, okay, so we're going to select Model 4 that we just created. Page down. Okay, this is screen 2 of 12. There's 12 screens for setup. yeah, that's a lot. Okay, and we're going to pick a name. So we're going to call this, well, actually, let's just do this. Hit enter, and then we're gonna call this icon. If I do a quick enter, it's going to stay a little I. If I do an enter hold, it's going to do a capital I. So switch to capital I, move to the next one. So same thing. Small c. If I do a quick snap, it's gonna. I'll do it. Okay, stay to small c. And we go hold, capital O, N, hold, icon. Okay, enter, 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 enter. That's how many digits we can go out on a model name. Enter, and then the full thing. Okay, now I can go down to the next one, but I'm going to fix the C. So enter again, hold, capital C, and now we just enter, 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 enter. Okay, so we fixed that, and I went one too many. So, okay, now we can go down, and we're going to pick a model, and we're going to go down to the A5, enter, and I'm going to exit the screen just for a second to show you that it, there it is. There's the picture of the A5 icon. So there's 1,000 different pictures in this radio. I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot of pictures in there. I mean, there really is. If you've got a model, there's a picture of it in here. Pretty much. Guarantee you that you're going to find whatever model you're flying. And I'm not talking about just real airplanes. There's a lot of model airplanes preset in here too, by their names, like the Bixler, Bixler 2. All those are preset in here. They're already on the menu. You can go select that model. So if you're going to program it for a Bixler 2, you can actually go in there and get the picture of a Bixler 2. So pretty cool. It's a neat radio. A lot of neat cools. A lot of cool stuff. So let's page back down. Oh, well, this is just changing what the screen looks like. And the channel monitor. Channel monitor just shows you the sticks, which sticks are doing what, and percentages of usage. So, helpful screen. Don't have to leave. You can leave it on that if you want. Don't have to leave it on that. Page down again. This is basically your standard, original screen, and it also gives you all your switch positions. So you can watch the B switches changing. So it's kind of a switch test at the same time. Okay, so let's go back into menu, page down, back to the screen where we just put in the icon and pick the A5, and we're going to scroll down. Because this is where we're going to turn on the bay so that the Spektrum, right now there's no light on. See, the light's not on because we haven't told it to be a Spektrum, or we haven't told it to use the bay. So we're going to tell it to use the bay. So here's where you do that. We're still in screen 2. Scroll down, and you're going to get down here past all this. These are all the switch positions. We're going to go past those and go down, down. Here's where it is. Internal RF mode. That is the FreeSky open source that talks to a FreeSky receiver like this. The X8R that came with my package here. It's right now configured to talk to this. I still have to bind to it, but it's configured to talk to that protocol. We're going to change that. This is where we set it for Spektrum. So we have to turn this off, so hit enter, and page down, to off. Enter. Then we're going to go down, and then it says external RF. Okay, we have to turn this on, but we're not going to just turn it on. You press enter, and then PPM, XJT, DSM2, which is what you would think you would use for this, but you don't, because you can set that to DSM2, and then over here it'll go to DSMX, and you would think that would be the correct setup. And if you put it in that setup, it'll bind to it, but it doesn't work. Okay, the light will come on solid on the receiver, saying it bound to it, but you can't control it. Doesn't work. So don't use that setting. You got to go back down to you want it on PPM. So pick PPM, enter, and then we're going to go down. Channel 1 through 8 is fine, and then 22.5 MS 300U negative. No, that's not right. The other video said that's what you want. That's not what you want. You want this positive. So you hit the enter, and now it's positive. Okay, and that's it. We're done. Now, lights on. There you go. Okay. Now that is for a Taranis Plus using a real Spektrum Bay module. If you're using a regular Taranis, if you're using the orange receiver, then maybe you do need that at negative, or maybe you need the DSM2. I don't know. I don't have a Taranis, regular Taranis. I never had one. The Plus is the only one I've ever bought, so I don't exactly know how. I've seen the videos of this radio. I can tell you that even the menu screens are totally different on the Taranis from the Taranis Plus. So not all the screens, but there's a lot of different screens. So even the firmware inside is different from the Taranis to the Taranis Plus. So what I'm showing you is really only for the Plus. It may be helpful for you if you have a Taranis, and if it is, great. I'm glad that worked for you. But you may have to do some, and if you're using the orange Bay module from Hobby King, again, what I'm telling you may not work. So just be aware. You know, there's other videos out there on how to set this stuff up, but there were no videos on how to use a Taranis Plus with a real Spektrum. So that's why I'm making this video, so you know how that works. Okay, so we're done. I'm going to exit out of here, and we're back to the main screen, and now we're going to shut the radio off. Okay, so now let me power up. Oh, sorry, bumped the camera again. Okay, so let me power up the real. We're going to start with the real Spektrum that came with it. Bind plugs in. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to provide power to that, and as you can see, we've got the quick blink, which means it's ready to be bound. Okay, now here's what you do. There's a bind button right here. You got to hold the bind button down while you power on the radio. So I'm going to hold that down, switch this on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
And as soon as this starts blinking, okay, release the button. And then this is giving us the confirmation that it received the thing, and there's the solid light. Did it work? It worked. There it is. Okay? So it has to be in the plus, not the negative. There's another video where he's binding the orange to a regular Taranis, and he had it negative and it worked. Didn't work on the plus. The plus in a real Spektrum in the Bay, you need it on plus, not negative. The negative is incorrect. You need it in plus. But there it is. Okay, so it's working and it bound fine. Okay, so there we go. Of course, then you would take your bind plug out of the receiver and power it off, power the radio off, all that good stuff. Okay, brand new orange in the bag. Okay, I'm going to take it out right now. We're going to bind to that. I'm going to show you it works exactly the same way. And I'm showing you on purpose because with no breaks in the camera, so that you know what I'm telling you is true. I'm not pulling some fast one here. I'm not making up shit. That this is really what worked for me, and it should work for you because you're watching me do it. So let's take the power plug out of Spektrum and put it in this, in channel 1, and the S is up just like on this one. The negative is at the bottom. Negative is at the bottom here as well. So you want your black wire on the bottom. and we're going to put this in number 1 because that's the throttle bay. Okay, and then we're going to put this servo in, I don't know, any one of the bays. I guess we'll just put it in the next one over because that's the aileron. Boy, that's tight. I think it might have just broke it. Did it? Maybe not. I'm going to skip one I'm putting in the elevator. Just for giggles. Doesn't matter. It's not plugging in all the way for some reason. Alright, anyway, I'm sure it'll work. Okay, so again, we're going to power up the orange. Same thing, quick blink, meaning it's waiting to be programmed. Okay. Same thing, hold the button. Turn on the radio.
Welcome to OpenTX.
Wait for the thing to start to blink here. There it is. Release the button. Getting the blink, blink, confirmation, solid orange. There it is. And there it is. And now this one's working. Okay, see, there it is. Taranis Plus, real Spektrum module in the bay. You just saw me bind it to the real Spektrum receiver and an orange Hobby King receiver using my settings. So if you follow those settings, you're going to be great. Go be golden. You've got a radio that you can go fly a plane with. Standard, just a 4-channel, no bells and whistles, and nothing works. Okay, none of the dual rates, none of the extra channels. If you've got, if you think because you had a 6-channel here and you had the flaps set up and this is in the same position, and it ain't gonna work. Okay, you got no flaps, you got no gear, none of that's set up yet. You got to. There'll be another video on how to do that. Got to set all that up. The switches are dumb. Nothing works. You got to set everything up. But that's how you bind it to the Spektrum module using the Spektrum or the Hobby King receiver, and then the rest of it is, like I said, it's a complicated setup, but once you're done, awesome, beautiful. So that's it. That's what open source is. That's how you bind it to a Taranis Plus radio using a real Spektrum module in the bay. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. Comment in the bottom of the video, and thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Bye bye.